This is a secret meeting of the staff of the Quad News, a website run by students at Quinnipiac University.
That could be a good headline.
They're meeting here in the cafeteria after hours because the Quad News is officially banned from campus. The website was founded last year when the entire staff of writers and editors abandoned the school-recognized newspaper. The walkout was a turning point in a year of arguments between school officials and student journalists who claimed they were being censored. It all began with this.
Racist slur written on the wall at a college campus as people talking tonight.
Quinnipiac students tell Eyewitness News tonight that the racial slur was written in a bathroom and targeted an African-American student.
The incident happened just days into the fall semester, but the official student newspaper, the Quinnipiac Chronicle, wasn't scheduled to print for another 2 weeks. Chronicle editors wanted to follow the story on its website, but they couldn't. A university rule kept the Chronicle from publishing articles online if they hadn't been printed on paper first.
The internet in general has just magnified the speed at which information is disseminated, and the likelihood that incorrect information will be disseminated much more broadly than it was in the past.
When the Chronicle did begin to publish, editor Jason Braff criticized the university's web posting policy. He published an editorial in the Chronicle and openly disagreed with the university in an interview with a local newspaper. The school, he argued, was able to control what stories went online.
We just had to, stand up for what we thought was the right thing to do, and we just kept pushing for that rule to be changed.
Jason was warned that he threatened to go ahead and publish online and use the newspaper as a vehicle for complaining about that rather than going through normal administrative channels to try and get that restriction lifted. And that's where the real trouble came about.
The Quinnipiac administration responded with this letter, warning Braff that any public statement by you expressing disagreement with such policies will seriously place your position and organization at risk.
Never have an ink fight with the people that own the ink.
The Chronicle suddenly ran into problems with access to administrators and coaches. The school began enforcing a rule that required student writers to submit interview requests and questions to Quinnipiac's Office of Public Affairs.
There were some days where we just kind of looked at each other and, why are we here? What are we doing? This isn't why I came to Quinnipiac University. We didn't come here to print public relations information.
The university organized a media task force to deal with the Chronicle, but only invited school administrators to participate.
When did they talk to us about it? The administration just kind of took it into their own hands.
They even cut out the Chronicle's faculty advisor, Margarita Diaz, the head of Quinnipiac's journalism department.
I was unceremoniously kicked out, if you will. They never told me I was not going to do it anymore. They simply hired someone else.
When the task force decided that school administrators would appoint a publisher and editor to run the Chronicle, the staff had had enough. Everyone but the illustrator left and started work on a campus news website, the Quad News.
First they were like, oh, the Quad News, okay, yeah, you guys want to, write some stories online, okay. I think once they realized after the few weeks that we were serious and they realized that the Chronicle was in jeopardy of existing, that they realized they needed to stop us somehow, which they couldn't.
But the university could bar them from using any school equipment, prohibit them from meeting in any school building, and limit access to officials, coaches, and even athletes. When Quinnipiac's chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists offered space to the Quad News, the university became irate, warning SPJ that, quote, any further interactions or endorsements with the Quad News could result in the Quinnipiac University chapter losing its recognition status. That would be tough, considering Quad News editor Jacqueline Hirsch is also president of the SPJ chapter.
The message that the university was sending by giving me that letter was saying, be careful, because next thing you know, your organization is going to be gone.
The threat to SPJ, a highly respected, nationally recognized organization, caught the attention of reporters across the country. The story of the Quad News landed on the pages of the New York Times in an editorial accusing Quinnipiac of stonewalling its own students.
The university was scared of what could happen if negative things about it were published and everybody got a wind of it. And in the end, you know what? They did. You lost control of it. The negative stuff came out. And I feel it was much worse than it had to be.
Since that editorial appeared, the university has formally rescinded its threat to the SPJ. Both the Quad News and the Quinnipiac administration report that their relationship has improved.
The university has an image that it wants to uphold, and it also has academic programs that it wants to grow. But sometimes those things clash.
With most school papers running online, the details and politics of campus life are suddenly available to anyone, anywhere, leaving student journalists caught between the stories they want to cover and the speed that image-conscious schools adapt to campus news, good and bad, making its way online.